I call this meeting to order, determined as a quorum present. We have Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself. We have a quorum. Commissioner Nettleton, if you lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4, approving minutes. I didn't see any. We had none. Citizens' comments, I just checked. We had none. Approving subdivision plans. You moved on me. Approving certificates of compliance. Approving monthly reports from elected officials.
Move.
Second. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 vote. Approving bills for payment.
Move. Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. We have one of the individuals. Was there going to be more coming yet? Was there going to be any more coming?
I think 2 more.
2 more? Okay, well, we'll wait a little bit. We're gonna go on a couple more items and then we'll wait a little bit.
There ain't just.
That was one. We got one more coming?
I think so.
Okay. Do you have one more coming, or is that it? One more? Okay, we'll wait a little bit. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 11, discussion possible action for approval of interlocal agreement for E911 public safety answering point services. Troy? On this right here, David, did we get this to you? Did you have a chance?
I've not seen this one.
Okay. Is this the standard contract?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could we
I make a
approve?
motion to approve pending legal review.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Auditor's report.
Move. Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. Matt,
Yes.
do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything. It's not on the report.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 13, discussion possible action on a certification of revenue, building damages, winter storm. This is insurance money?
This is from the baby hailstorm that we had a few months back. I don't have a schedule yet, so I don't know how you guys want it set up. If you just want us to throw it into insurance funds.
I'll make a motion to put it, it came from insurance, right?
It did.
Motion to place it in the insurance.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote.
I guess we're gonna list the buildings and all that.
We will, and they'll put it together. I think, Edgar's gonna give us a report of what we're already doing in the fairgrounds.
Okay.
And that'll be part of the insurance money, but Carlos has it all broke down as to what we're spending.
Excellent. Thank
All
you.
right. Item 14, discussion possible action to adopt a resolution authorizing the submission of a request for bonus self-help center program contract award and authorizing county judge to sign the resolution.
Motion to approve.
Second. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores.
Is this the one that we're gonna be able to use for septic and stuff?
You may, because it still has Comstock, but we also have another one coming as well.
Any other discussion? Any, have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. This is the good one, right, Aaron? He's here, right?
He's stepping out, Judge.
Okay. Treasurer's report, we do have a treasurer's report.
Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. We talked about it before. We got 10 cents, which is, I don't know, maybe I'm just being anal, but it's starting to affect me. The 10 cents is,
In the 2013 tax map?
yes, can somebody? Yeah, that's out of the whole $9 million. 10 cents. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 16, discussion of possible action on payment of Middle Rio Grande Development Council membership dues for the council fiscal year 2021-2022 in the amount of $4,800.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it. Discussion.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton. Yes, sir.
Are we getting anything out of this? I mean,
We have more board members now than I think we've ever had, and they're all attending. I guess the biggest thing that we're gonna get out of this hopefully is going to be our radios.
Are we gonna stick with the Motorola or try to move forward?
They're trying to, they have a meeting at the end of the month. They had a meeting Thursday or Friday, to go out for proposals, to go out, it'll go through either through, Tate or through Motorola. There was $1.1 million that the state had for Motorola that would help us. The only thing was that the two bids that were turned in, Motorola turned in a bid for 6 sites, Tate had turned in a bid for 16 sites. At round numbers, at 1.1 was Motorola and 1.5 was Tate. And you looked at it, you'd lose the state money of the 1.1, but when it's like your numbers really balanced out. So what they asked them to do, what we asked to do is to go back out for bid and try to compare apples to apples and give us bids on replacing all the sites. So that's what we're waiting on right now. When you ask, are we gonna stick with Motorola or are we gonna stick with Tate? I don't know, for the simple reason that they were gonna go out for bids to see,
And I have some concerns about switching. Is it gonna become a problem if we switch to a new radio system? Is it not?
when you look at it right now, you have other individuals that are on the service. You have TxDOT, you do have Border Patrol sometimes, you have DPS. You have other individuals on the service. I guess my concern was that Motorola was not allowing us to put Kenwood or any other radio on their system. So that was one of the concerns of a lot of county judges, I guess Eagle Pass and South, was the cost of the radios. Brackett even expressed concern on the cost of radios, that there were some of them were double the amount. We were given, the guy that came down that visited with y'all, with you, Sheriff, he actually was here, and from Motorola, and he said that would not be a problem anymore. So that was one of the concerns that were addressed, that if you wanted to buy a Kenwood radio or any other radio that they would help program.
And I haven't been keeping up with it 100%, but I'm being told by people that if we switch over, we're gonna have a communication problem.
The communication, sir?
This is more agendas.
Oh, I appreciate it. The communication problem would be with TxDOT and with Border. They would be able to keep that same service if we went to another service. And then the switching of channels, when you get beyond our counties, our quad counties, it would begin to be a problem. I guess is the simplest way to put it. Within our counties, if we switch systems, it would not be a problem. But once we got past that, it would begin to be a problem. The guy from Motorola, he came back when we were in Uvalde, and he asked if he was completely out of the game because the numbers that were being thrown out were $3.4 million for Motorola compared to the 1.6 from Tate. But Motorola did say that at that time that he didn't know where that number had come from, that they were never that high, and the bid that they submitted was never for all 16 towers. They were asked to see what they could do for the $1.1 million that the state had available and for a grant for the system. One of the things that the $1.1 million, if we didn't stay with the system and we went with another system, that $1.1 million would go away. So that was one of the concerns. The other concern was the channels. TxDOT had given us the channels for us to use, or given us the channels. When you look them up, they do belong to Middle Rio Grande or whatever. They do not belong to TxDOT. TxDOT did say that they would probably ask for them back. I did tell them in the meeting, though, that I couldn't find anything that why would we give them back. Not wanting to throw rocks, but it just needed to make sense. To answer to your question, would it be a problem for communications? For the individuals within the counties, It wouldn't, once you got out, it would be for us. It would be a
You
problem.
know, I mean, when we spent all the money years and years ago to put this communication system together, it's so we could talk statewide. And I hate to see that, but then the issue I've had with Middle Road Brand is that, you know, we ended up dumping a bunch of our own money into this radio system just to try to maintain it because they weren't doing the maintenance the way they were supposed to be doing, so.
They actually said that they would, they'd come back out to us, whatever. The whole problem behind the system that we have right now was the maintenance. Basically, you stuck all this money in a program and thought it would just sort of take care of itself, and it didn't. There's no such thing. So in moving forward, if we go with Motorola or go with tape, the whole thing would be like Judge Mitchell said, we will be in the radio business. What that means is we will have to hire a full-time technician to do nothing but go out and take care of these radios.
And we used to have somebody, years ago, we used to have full-time radio technicians that took care of this.
I think we had Forrest and Spade,
Yeah.
right, that helped a lot with that. They don't work for us, but I will tell you that both of them are really involved with information as to, the system that we have right now and, trying to give us guidance.
Mhm.
They're real concerned about moving away from the Motorola system. I did tell them that one of my biggest problems is with Motorola is, you know, they sort of shove it down your throat and then this is what you're gonna have to go buy, this is what you're gonna have to go do. And there was no leeway. A month and a half ago when we had the meeting in Uvalde, that changed. And the people from Motorola did say that if you wanted to buy, radios, P25s, or what is it? Right? If you wanted to buy the radios from another company, they would facilitate getting them programmed and help with that, which we'd never had that before. So it seemed like once you begin to lose a $2 million contract, they sort of
Yeah.
came back to the table.
I just don't want to see us getting to the point where we have a communications issue, that's all.
Yeah. Well, the towers themselves, they would stand and then, you know, like I told Motorola, there has to be some value in all these other entities being able to use it and us communicate with them also. So, yeah, it's one of those deals. You have $1.1 million from the state. You know, you can't come in at $3 million and somebody else coming in at 1.6 and then expect to end up with the system.
Mhm.
So, all right.
All right.
Had a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor?
All right.
5-0 vote, discussion possible action. Wait a minute. We had a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton. The money was to come out of, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Out of contingency.
We don't have this budgeted,
No,
dues and memberships?
no. No.
Okay, I'll make my motion that we get the money from
Amend your motion.
contingency.
Second accept.
Second accept.
All those in favor?
All right.
5-0 vote. Item 17. We'll do item 17 and then discussion possible action on, $4,950 payment to Rolando L. Rios and Associates, PLLC, for redistricting services contract, ACS, analysis estimate of population changes and GIS costs. This one here, I put it on here. We are getting billed, it's half of what his contract says in item B, which was, and then there's a $2,700 service. If y'all don't mind, if we could table this and bring it back and maybe give me and David a chance to visit with him that way.
Yeah, we haven't done anything, and we're making payments.
We made our first payment, we made a first payment of $8,000, and this is half of the $8,000 and another bill for copies and stuff like that. But if y'all could table it and give us,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table. I'd like for him to come down and do some kind of presentation so we can figure out where we're at in this process.
okay.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores to table, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Discussion possible action on declaration of local state disaster on immigrants. We signed a disaster, I need to sign another one, and need permission from the court to sign it.
Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Are we all here? See? Okay. Tom. and then we'll take a picture of it with it. Yeah, good luck. Now, come on up. If, he's gonna read the proclamation, if y'all wanna stand on each side, and then what we'll do is he'll read it, and we'll get a picture with all of y'all. No, just come up front, it's good, they're good.
We don't bite.
So, Commissioner Nettleton wanted to know who was doing the 2-hour speech.
Silence.
Proclamation, Miss Valverde Month. Whereas the Miss Valverde pageant is the first step in participation in the Miss Valverde USA organization, an international company that advances and supports today's women. Whereas the organization strives to provide mentoring, career training, resources, and life experiences for women to be personally enriched through the organization's year-round support of all aspects of their lives, from their own personal career goals to social, humanitarian causes and work. Whereas the contestants perform community service throughout the competition. Whereas the Miss Valverde pageant competition for 2020-2021 was held on May 8, 2021. Whereas 8 young ladies competed for the title of Miss Valverde Queens. Whereas Miss Audrey Marshall was crowned as Miss Valverde. Whereas Miss Albany de la Ho was crowned as Miss Valverde Teen. Whereas Miss Vivian Salinas was crowned as Miss Queen City. Whereas Miss Giselle Trevino was crowned as Miss Queen City Teen. Whereas Miss Melody Chacon was crowned as Junior Miss Valverde. Whereas Miss Krista Scott was crowned as Little Miss Valverde. Whereas Miss Maddie Montos was crowned as Little Miss Queen City. Whereas Miss Chloe Ponce was crowned as Mini Me Miss Valverde. Whereas these young ladies embody the characteristics of hard work, commitment, and selflessness for our community. Now, therefore, the Valverde County Commissioners Court hereby proclaims May 2021 as Miss Valverde Month and encourages Valverde County residents to acknowledge those young ladies who set and achieve goals, perform community service, and make themselves productive members of our community. Passed and approved this 22nd day.
And we passed and approved it a while back.
Okay.
That's good.
Passed this June 8th, 2021.
Okay.
That's it. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay, we'll do, I'm gonna get a picture with y'all right now, if y'all don't mind. Then what we'll do is we'll get copies of this after it's entered into the record, here at Valverde County. So therefore, later on, if y'all ever want to come back and look at it, y'all come to the county clerk. Y'all will have a copy, but it will be as part of the record here at the county. Okay? Where do you want to get a picture of it? Right here? Y'all want some around? Either way. What you got? I'll get in a minute.
I know, it's John.
She got here just in time.
And you want Claudia up there too, right?
I'm good.
No, you need to go. Sorry.
What did he say? He said, you get over here because she's tall. We can't say anything.
We're not giving this to her, we just show it. That's the best way.
Kind of scooch in a little bit too. Yeah, yeah. And hold it, there you go, that's perfect, right there.
I'm gonna suck in my awesome.
Please do. All right, everybody over here on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Very nice, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll make sure that y'all get a copy of this, okay? Thank y'all.
Judge, these ladies are ready to adopt parks and paint, so not just
Put them
parades.
to work?
Yes.
Yeah.
good luck. We'll get you some places to paint then. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Congratulations, girl.
Thank you, Tom. Yes. We'll put you on the hot seat right there, right? I looked at a couple of the names and I'm like, yeah. Thank y'all, ladies.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great day. Have a great summer. We're gonna put you to work. See y'all later. They had a deal that, the parents got to ask the question, they were called on stage. And when they got called on stage, I got scared. Because, right, I mean, that's the first time anything like that had ever happened, when you call the parents up.
The adrenaline coming back. We almost called you at one.
Yeah, well, you scared me too. Can't say that. Thank y'all so much for coming.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah, they go out and we have to do, well, they don't have to, but they're part of the community. They go out and do community, help the community with different services and stuff, which is pretty impressive. Yeah.
They do a lot.
Item 19, if we can table after executive session, if y'all don't mind.
Motion to table.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 20, discussion possible action on sports complex at Fairgrounds and Frontera Road. One of the deals on Frontera Road, Douglas had gone out and shot some grades. We're probably gonna need help on that one, trying to get it back to, some type of, level or usable. I know that we're waiting on lights and waiting to do some other stuff on Alcoa Field. He did shoot some shots out there, shoot some grades, but we're gonna have to do something.
On the baseball field?
On the baseball field and on the soccer fields.
I'm sending it right now.
But if we can put a plan together, maybe through Douglas and have all the commissioners participate, would be great. Soccer league, if they're having some issues, getting put together, starting in for August, but if we could try to get the fields together for them, between all four precincts would help. The sports complex, we're working on, about 70 acres. The sports complex, there was some property off of 90, Blanca Larson and Frank Larson owned the property. It was, voted on for a bond. The bond failed, but I think we're looking at that property right now, and trying to do the fields again. So in that, just to give y'all information, we're going to probably, once we get the paperwork done on it, bring it back to the court and get it approved, we're gonna need help with that. I know Commissioner Nettleton that you had, talked to a couple of individuals that might be able to give us a right of way into this property. So we're gonna need help, moving forward with that. The property up at the fairgrounds, and there's like about 4 items here that sort of tie into each other. The property up at the fairgrounds also, we're gonna have to decide, which way we're gonna run with some of the money that we borrowed, whether we're gonna do more kids or, we're gonna have to give this some thought. I was at McCoy's, and I think this is what prompted this. You get the phone calls and everything, but we were at McCoy's, last week, and you get a roofer that comes out and wants to know, how come we're not doing more? The soccer fields, we couldn't use them right now, and I think they're paying, what he told me is that they had to pay $800 to use the soccer fields from the city. I don't know if that's true. I think the county has done a lot. I think we charge $1, and we always have, or $10 or something like that.
But, they use from the city.
They're using those, basically at Buena Vista, that floodway, in that ditch area around the swimming pools and stuff.
Charging them for that?
That's what this guy told me. And that's sort of, this court has done a really good job with kids, I think. I think that we have an opportunity right now because of the amount of money that we borrowed to do more. And this was a discussion that I wanted to have. Again, we couldn't prepare the fields or have the fields usable for the league that's playing right now. Just because we're doing Frontera Road and everything else that's going on and the amount of dirt, which we were trying to take care of the drainage issue that we have there at the fields, the soccer fields. And one of the most cost-effective ways to do that right now is to go ahead and use the material off of Frontera Road, so they weren't usable.
Are we gonna have enough material to level those?
Yes. And when we started at the baseball field, that area right there is the area that would usually wouldn't even grow grass because of all the moisture, I say, because it seemed like that material had a lot of salt in it. So it just wouldn't grow grass. But I think we need to go ahead and commit. We borrowed $4.3 million this go around. And asking our bond counsel, he said that those funds could be used for buildings or any type of improvement that was county owned on county property. It was written that broad. So, I think we're gonna have to come up with some decisions here pretty soon as to how we're gonna use that money. And that'll be
I think if we're not going to use the money for some kind of central distribution, it needs to be reinvested into the youth of this community, into these ball fields. We still have a huge need for indoor facilities. We have a lot of children that play basketball, volleyball, other things. They have no means to be able to accomplish that task. We have a lot of leagues that would do a lot more if they had facilities, so I think that investment needs to be made into the youth and some sort of indoor facility. I'd like us to look at some sort of indoor facility for our youth to do basketball and volleyball and other indoor sports. I mean, there's still a lot of kids that play baseball, but there's a lot that do other things too.
No, and that's one of the deals, that we have 3 or 4 items on here that are probably all tied into each other. But we do need to have that discussion. I think on the plan at the fairgrounds, we had a facility that was gonna be a concrete slab with a roof that had 3 basketball courts. And then an indoor, or a facility, a multi-purpose facility that is about 16,000 square foot in the front that could be turned into, basketball and just a multi-purpose facility.
I mean, we're literally driving to Dilly once a week just to play because there's no facility in Del Rio to play. And there's teams coming from all places around the state to play at these tournaments. So it's not just for our local, there's still opportunities to bring in people to be able to spend money in Del Rio and do things in Del Rio by having a facility that we would be able to utilize.
Well, we will have more discussion on all this when we come back from executive session, but just to get this started, we will need help on Frontera Road on the fields. That's for sure. I'd like for all, if possible, all 4 precincts and guys can come up with a plan on how we can come up and
Get with Jaime on it. I know we're working with you right now on the city's Field of Dreams, but I think they're almost done with that. We can go down and start, if you got grades, we can start setting levels and shooting. Great.
And if y'all don't mind, the other precincts, get with Carlos and let's move forward with that. Any other discussion?
Is there anything we can do temporarily at the front of the fairgrounds? We got a lot of kids practicing up there and there's nothing but rocks. I mean, is there something we can do temporarily to put some dirt, level that out, throw some grass seed? It doesn't matter at this stage of the game. Something temporary. I don't know if there's any material left over.
There's a lot of the stuff that's out there right now, there's no more sand. It's a lot of rocky stuff. I mean, it would be something, even out there, we're gonna have to go in and, we'll have to go in out there after we get done leveling and probably still have to haul some type of topsoil in there.
Do we have material left from the Field of Dreams? Wasn't there some piles in here? Where did all that go?
I don't know what they're doing with it, but we have some. The city has some.
Let's get with the city and see if we can utilize it for those fields right in the
I
front
have a
there.
meeting with them on Thursday.
Right.
I know they bought a bunch of sandy loam from, Mr. Reyes for those fields out there. They haul for weeks and weeks.
There was some good dirt that y'all cut out of that drainage in there. They're not gonna use it and we can use it to level those fields up there. That would be great. I'm sure Edgar in the conversation.
And Field of Dreams. We'll send her a text right now, see what she says. and all that. We'll send her a text right now. It came out and I just sent it to her. Let's see what she says. If she doesn't answer, hopefully she can get us an answer here back in a minute.
Did we get any pricing on, or I guess we can discuss that in executive session on that building?
And we can come back to this here in a minute, when we get back from executive session, and then we make other decisions to figure out if we have any funds or not. Item 21, discussion possible action on judicial center. I know that we've been talking about this and trying to figure out, I know that we had money set aside or not money set aside. We had fund notes that were going to be, paid off in 2024. And I'd actually brought up about a judicial center, those funds being used for that. I know that other courts have tried to set up plans or whatever. I'm trying to get ahead of this, and the reason I put this on is, would the court entertain that? Or I think if we're gonna build a judicial center, we probably spend some money trying to get the plans and stuff together, but also have the citizens decide whether or not they're willing to raise the tax rate in order to get this done. I just wanted to have a feeling from the court.
I think it needs to go before the voters. I know we're gonna have some cost on the front end to do design and some preliminary plans and cost analysis. I think it needs to go before the voters, and I really think that it needs to be attached to the jail so we don't have transportation issues and those types of things where we can move prisoners in and out of the jail.
And I think we had talked, we had been talking about maybe using the precinct 1 and precinct 2 yard at some point for a judicial center. But I need a consensus from the court as to whether or not we'd be willing to look at it and try to fund it with maybe funds that might be available after 2024, or if we'd like the voters to approve a tax rate increase once we come up with a dollar amount. I'd like to get a consensus and try to move forward.
I personally want the voters to make the decision.
So do I agree on that, but I think it's very important that we get numbers together. I mean, to get an idea of what it's gonna cost and where we're gonna build it. And if there's sufficient land there to build one.
Okay. So the plan would be is, we sort of bring it back to the court, try to move forward with some type of preliminary plans to get a cost. But at the end of the day, it would be put out for vote by the voters.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay.
Judge, what would you expect on the timetable in this situation for the voter,
I don't think we'd be putting out for vote till maybe next year. I don't think we've got enough time to do a preliminary, set of plans, set of costs, or do anything like that before this November. So I would think that by next year, we'd have something put out.
and then the actual construction action?
That would be up to the voters whether or not they pass the tax rate increase. Y'all okay with that?
Yes, sir, Judge.
Do I have a motion to?
I'll make a motion to put together a plan and prepare for a bond election.
Second.
Judicial Center.
Have motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. Don't be mad, Gus. All those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. This one here, discussion possible action on geo contract to go from $10 to $20 per day and other matters. If we can table this till after executive session. Have a motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 23, discussion possible action on Quad County's contract. This is for the battered woman shelter. We talked about it, in 2019, did a deal with them in 2020, like February 2020. And I know that, there's been concerns within the community. Their contract with us is on a month-to-month basis. I don't know whether y'all want to go out again, or keep them.
We're fully still funding it ourselves,
No, sir. We actually, the city pays for half of it, and we pay for half.
but they have not been able to get grants to help cover some.
They have not.
Is there a particular reason they're just not going after them, or they're just not available? Or do we know?
To answer the question, I don't think they're going out there.
Okay. I'll make a motion to go back out for proposals. This would be considered professional services, would be request for proposals, or would it be request for bids?
Once again,
Probably an RFP, that's what we're looking for.
I'll make a motion to go out for request for proposals for a firm to operate and manage the better building shelter.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second.
Second that, Judge.
Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Discussion possible action on final payment from Madison Group Affairs, Inc. in the amount of, this was submitted, but it was not, it needs to
Motion
be.
to approve.
We'll submit the payment. We'll go through the process. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? 5-0 vote, and there's also another item that was added to your package for review, and we'll get that quarterly report also to the auditor and to the treasurer. Discussion and possible, item 25, discussion possible action on external audit. We actually met with them yesterday. Was there any concerns in y'all's package?
Not at this time.
Y'all want to accept that
Did
audit?
we accept it the last time or no?
No.
I've never heard anybody accepting it, but that's fine.
Well, I just want to make sure it's part of the record that we looked at it.
I will make a motion to accept the external audit and place in the minutes.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Okay.
Presentation by Dunaway and Associates on the Alcoa Field project. Always here. Is he the, where's he at? He's not up there.
There's a Tara Lindbergh.
Is that it? Tara Lindbergh? That's her?
Yeah.
She on? Oh, she's in the waiting room. In the waiting room. We'll bring her in from the waiting room.
I mean, that's real fancy technology.
She's gonna get to talk.
Real fancy technology. I like talking about it.
Tara? Hello?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay. Are you with Dunaway and Associates?
I am.
Okay, well, we're gonna do that, you're gonna do a presentation for us. Is that correct? Or give us information on what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay,
I
how?
can share my screen.
Okay, they're giving me the thumbs up that you can.
Okay, I see it. Okay, let me know when you can see it.
We can see it.
Okay, great. All right, I'm just gonna go through the steps real quick, and if you have any questions while I'm going through it, that's fine. This is just a cover page, and it just tells us our sheets and our site location. Right here is just some general notes that'll be for when anyone does start construction that the contractor will need to read through. And then here's our existing site right now. It is there is a baseball field there, and I know they're already starting on work on moving the dirt and everything like that. The field's a bit smaller, and they're wanting to change this field to a Babe Ruth league field, which means it will get larger. There are some existing bleachers and dugouts and some chain link fence right now, and there's some trees along the sides. There's also a trail over here. I think it's a road that goes to a concession stand over there. So here's kind of a demo plan. This is showing us removing all of that infill dirt.
Okay. You still there? We lose her? She froze? She's froze. Technology at its best. Her internet will start working here in a minute and we'll be okay. Maybe.
Existing light poles along the outside that are going to be removed. And those are on wood poles right now. So, and then this is just showing how we do protect the trees and how we trim them up when we're doing construction. Here's the new layout of the field. I have received some comments from a coach that I think will be using these fields, and we had discussed maybe, we've discussed measurements, so that's the only thing that might change when we move forward. But right now, this is the layout of the field to make it a Babe Ruth field. And I'm gonna go to the next page, which is an enlargement. Here's the overall field. We're showing, right now in this plan, we're showing keeping the bleachers, but we're sanding them down and painting them. It's a pretty big cost to try and bring some new ones in or remove them. And then we're also showing relocating the existing dugouts that are there right now. We're planning on using what we can from those, but we're likely gonna be adding some new fence and, some new elements in those dugouts. We're also showing we're adding a backstop and fencing around the entire field. I'll go through the details more of what that looks like when we get further in the drawing. We're also showing the scoreboard that was previously in this corner, moving it to the center. We're still gonna use that scoreboard. We're just suggesting that you, do move it and then sand and paint some of it, because there were some areas that needed some repair, but it's overall in good shape. The main item on this that we're adding are the lights. We're showing 4 light poles, and there are some lights that have, some poles that have been donating that we're hoping to use. It's something that we need to coordinate further, not just with our structural engineer, but also with the lighting rep. So let me go to the next page. Here's just the infield. We're showing right now that we had talked about possibly using artificial turf in the infield, but I'm having a feeling we're probably gonna go solid sod just for cost. But that's what we're showing right now, but these are all the measurements that are for a Babe Ruth field. And then we just talked more in depth about what you have to do with the pitcher's plate and on the base layout. And this is just the more details of showing how we install the bases and the plates and the infield skin surface. If we did do artificial turf, we're showing that you're gonna have to have a substructure underneath so it will drain properly. And then, let's see, this is just the foul pole and foul line marker, which is pretty typical. And we're suggesting we install some new ones. I don't think there are any out there right now, so we'll be adding some new ones. And then we're also showing the fence post footings, which right now, I think the next sheet, I don't know. We were showing having kind of a mowing edge where you have concrete under those holes. It's just better for maintenance and it's easier moving forward than having to weed eat those areas all the time. These are the dugout plans. Let's see. We're showing that we relocated the bench. It'll need to be cleaned up and moved in, but we are showing entirely new chain link fence and roof structure, and we are moving it to match the field size, and so it'll also line up with the Babe Ruth field size. This is showing the backstop and the maintenance gate out in the outfield, as well as the chain link fence that will go all the way around. And we're also here, we're highlighting that mow strip that I talked about earlier. Okay, this is just the chain link fence details that we require when putting the fences together. This is just a planting plan showing that we'll be adding solid sod through this whole area. We actually have an extending path to the fence, just a little bit. And then here we're showing that this will either be solid sod or in lieu of, if you would like to do the artificial turf there. And we have costs for all this. It's something that we'll just have to keep discussing moving on. This is just the irrigation plan because there is some irrigation on site, but we are planning to remove that and install entirely new irrigation.
I was looking at your cost.
There is a meter, I believe,
Ma'am?
out here that
Ma'am?
we're connecting.
We have a comment.
I was looking at your cost analysis on irrigation. You're not doing drip, you're doing conventional. You have an
Yes.
awful high price of $75,000 for irrigation. Why is our cost so high on that? Is there something unique that you're adding to this? This is
No,
this is
I can
probably a
coordinate more
$30,000
with our,
job.
sorry,
This is probably a $30,000 job.
okay. I'll coordinate more with our irrigation designer on the cost and ask her that question as to why it is so high. And we can look at updating that in our cost estimate. But I'll reach out to her and see why that is. I'll make a note right now.
Okay.
Are you saying you would prefer drip irrigation?
No, just looking at your cost, I was assuming you were doing drip at those numbers, if you're not doing
Right.
drip.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'll
$75,000
come down.
I mean, that feels not that big, it's a little pricey, it's $75,000. I would assume this is gonna be in the $30,000 range, it shouldn't be much beyond that.
Okay.
Unless there's something unique, but judging from the plan that I'm looking at, I don't see anything unique about it.
I think that they kind of go high because they're not sure what all is required and what all they're going to be adding as far as meters and everything like that. But I feel like y'all already have a connection and everything, so they just go a little high to make sure if they need to cover those kind of costs.
Okay.
But I'll let them know that there's already existing meters on site and just make sure that we're covered there.
Okay.
Because I know they're talking about the upsize, the backflow and master valve and the water meter.
And your sod is gonna be Bermuda? You're using which type of Bermuda? The sports field Bermuda or the F-119?
I think we're just showing typical Bermuda grass right now.
Okay.
And I know there's a certain type of base that they'll put on those types of fields. But let me also just double check on that to make sure that we're good there. Okay.
Real quick, Carl, where are we at on this? I mean, exactly, like, we have plans, I know that they were gonna do for the poles, the lighting for the poles, the engineering for the light poles. We're looking already at the different size, I think there were some comments on the extension, and shooting those grades. What else? How about the parking area?
You need to nail down the exact dimension. Make sure that we're in regulation, whatever.
And I think that's what Carlos has already done, as far as the size and what he shot, the grades that he shot. Where the grades are at right now on the elevation, they were shot at a distance that meets, Babe Ruth fields, if that makes any sense, yeah.
I mean, we have,
They have those distances.
Huh?
So it's 325 from foul lines and 345 on center field.
Yeah, so all that's already
They do
been
have
done.
that information.
Okay.
we have $50,000 in here for demolition. I mean, I thought we were gonna do some of that in-house.
That was something I was actually going to ask. I know that y'all are doing a lot of the site work, so that's probably an item that could be taken out or lesser. It could be a lesser amount.
And, on the light poles and, the light poles and the wiring underground and the fencing on the backside, just to get started, that when we go to blade, Edgar was looking into, getting a bucket truck or something to start that process already. He was trying to finish the wall out at, the adult probation and get that done. Because then, once they get that done, everything else inside is gonna get done, and then they can go ahead and move in and get that project done.
I just assumed we would do all the demo and grade to grade needed, and then the contractor would come in and handle from that point forward. So I would assume some of those costs.
Well, a lot of these costs will come out.
Right.
Are we doing anything to the parking lot?
No.
Parking area?
No.
Not unless we can save enough money here to be able to do it.
No. And what we can do is, today and tomorrow, come up with some of these line items that are in here that maybe we could remove,
Okay.
and get that to you by Thursday.
Okay, that'd be
Does
good.
that work? And then by then, maybe you can get us some, well, maybe not by then, but maybe you can get us some answers like on the irrigation system and then, the cost on that one.
Okay,
Will that work?
Do we get the
that
results?
works for me.
Do we get the results on the geotech?
Did we get the results on the geotech, is what Carl just asked?
Let me double check and reach out to Geotech, Carl. I believe I have gotten that, and if I have it, I'll send it to you. I think I was holding on to it to kind of talk with the structural engineer about these new light poles and fittings, so, let me double check and make sure I have that, and if I do, I'll send it to you.
I think one of the contentions maybe, or not contention, concern, is are we definitely going with the donated light poles? That's a big ticket item if we're not.
And then we need, I mean, that's gonna be up to y'all's geotech, whether or not, and she just said right now, it's even the person doing the lighting, whether or not they can use them. That's not gonna be our decision, because naturally, we'd like to use them. But I think y'all are gonna need to make that decision, and whoever's gonna do the lighting, if we can use them.
Right.
And safely use them. And she just brought that up, was to check and see if the lighting and the geotech, if we're gonna be able to use them. I think that decision needs to be y'all's. I mean, like you say, it's a big ticket item, so naturally, if we could, let's use them, but, I mean, I'd hate to hang them out there and then have concerns that if we hang all these lights, and they might not hold up. Okay.
Right, and the person that we're coordinating with is Musco Lighting, and I know they provide details and structural and everything when they install their own poles, but they don't when they install poles that are from somewhere else. So that's why, I think I sent something to Carl a while back that, we're gonna need to coordinate with a structural engineer and get those details, together. It was a small fee, but I'm gonna consult with them and just make sure these poles are gonna work with the geotech and with the light.
Okay, well, if we can get that answer, and then, you know, we'll, on our part, we'll get you the demolition and everything that we can sort of strike out, and then we're gonna do, and then we'll move from there.
Okay.
And if, probably on Friday, Carlos, maybe we'll get a phone call on Friday. Will that work? Okay. All right. Y'all have any other questions? We're good? Everybody good? Thank you so much, ma'am. Have a great day, and we'll be back with you on Friday.
Okay, thank you, y'all have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for taking the time.
Of course.
Item 27, discussion and approval of changing the position of light equipment operator, heavy equipment operator with a base pay change from $27,451 to $33,000.
I am fine with doing this during the budget cycle, but not out of the budget cycle.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to make a budget amendment from precinct 1 operating to, for 6,000.
Wait a minute. Okay, you have a motion on the table, you have an item on the table to go from light equipment operator to heavy equipment operator.
Right. And it would be funded with a budget amendment from operating to the salary for $22,000. We'll finish out the year. And, all the other precincts have 2 heavy equipment operators, except for precinct 1.
It's like it's like dirty, right? I mean, it isn't real clean. Is it real clean? I mean, if you just made the motion to go to heavy equipment operator from light, then there's funds available within payroll to do that. But he's wanting to do it and pay with it with his own money out of operating. Does he have enough money in operating?
Right. Well, you would have enough money in operating, but you do have some salary savings in there. 45, this would, anyway, it comes about $1,100. So, to cover the rest.
So he wouldn't need to take it out of his operating. He could do it just out of his, savings and salaries.
Mm-hmm. Well, I make the motion to
Do what he said?
Matt's recommendation.
All right. You okay with that?
For this fiscal, and then.
Right.
And then we'll leave it, we'll have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Against?
Aye.
It's a 4-1 vote. Commissioner Nettleton, was against it. Item 28, approving rental of trencher water line to Rancho del Rio and Escondido due to rot. Estimated cost $12,000 for 40 hours or 7 days. Freight cost $3,000. Trencher will cut 27.96 inches. Payment to be determined from Commissioner's Court. Where do you have the money? You need 12,000 or do you need 15,000?
12,000.
That's included with the $3,000?
No, 15, you're right, 15,000.
15, what we're doing is $1,500 freight.
There's no money in the grant for it?
We got about 5 left in there.
He can get the rest from his operating.
You have $10,000, which you need, Commissioner, Wardlaw. Do you have that money?
From operating.
You have it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that a part of the motion, 5 and 10?
Make that motion.
Second. Commissioner Wardlaw made a motion, Commissioner Flores seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 vote. We're gonna move to item 34, and I'm sorry, didn't realize while y'all were here right now. Y'all really needed to throw something at me. Discussion and possible action authorizing Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez to sign an MOU between Val Verde County Sheriff's Office and 47th Flying Training Wing, Longland Air Force Base, pending county attorney's approval.
Are we good with this, Sheriff?
Yes.
Motion to approve, pending county attorney's approval.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Second. Commissioner Flores. I'm gonna go ahead and, I haven't had a complete chance to look at this, so I'm gonna vote no on this. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4, I vote against it, 4-1 vote. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Let's go to item 29, discussion of possible action of approval to provide office space in the community center to Endeavors. Endeavors is a nonprofit organization that provides assistance to the community at no charge. Mr. James Powell will do a presentation. Is Mr. James Powell here?
Morning, Judge.
How's it going today?
I'm blessed. How about you?
Good. That's a good one.
Outstanding.
Me too.
Outstanding. I had, spoke with Mr. Commissioner Flores there, and, he had said he had a space available there at the community center. A little bit about Endeavors. We're a faith-based nonprofit, organization who passionately serve people in crisis. We have several different, services that we offer, from mental health to veterans to disaster relief, migrant, and then also community housing. And that's what we'd like to do here, is help out with community housing. We can do that in a variety of ways. We can do rapid rehousing. We can help out with utility assistance, as well as just finding permanent homes. So, we help out in several different counties.
So your main, I guess, mission or what you would be doing is providing
Providing rapid rehousing and case management and homeless prevention to people here in Val Verde County and surrounding counties.
Okay, when you say rapid rehousing, what does that mean?
That means if they're homeless, if they're literally homeless, no place to live, they're living in their car, on the streets, whatever, we try to house them within 30 days.
So you
We'll
provide
find them a
money?
home. Yes, we find them a home, whether it be their deposit, whatever it may be, to get them in an apartment complex, you know, our housing.
And how long, I mean, like for how long do y'all pay for or something like that? It just depends on the case-by-case basis?
Well, we do it up for 6 months and then we reevaluate them. We do it up for 6 months and then we reevaluate.
And you're a nonprofit?
That is correct, yes, sir.
That'll good?
Gus, you have a space?
No, I think it's a great program and it'll bring a lot of help to the community.
You make a motion or?
Yes, I will make a motion. Second. Approve this, you second.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wardlaw. Any discussion? All good? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 30, discuss, thank you, sir.
Set some flowers. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Discussion possible action of approval to provide office space in the community center to MHP Salud. It's a nonprofit organization that provides services at no charge to border counties in Texas. Karen will give a small presentation. She's here, or they're here. Who's Karen?
I'm Karen Yarmes, this is Hilda.
How do you say your last name?
Yarmes, it's
Yarmes.
silent H.
Okay. Well, I really messed that one up, didn't I? Now, come on up.
Nobody gets hurt.
That didn't make me feel any better.
It's crazy.
What is
Okay,
it that y'all do?
We're a nonprofit organization and we're based from Westlaco, but we do serve all 18 counties that are border towns with Mexico. And that's from El Paso to, ¿cómo se llama? Cameron, all the way to Cameron.
Brian, yeah.
From Westlaco to El Paso, but I was talking Cameron. Okay. What we do is we assist in filling out applications for the healthcare, and we also assist with Medicare savings program. We do also assist with the SNAP and Medicaid, but they have somebody already, so we would come like once a week, maybe as needed, whenever.
Just to help fill out paperwork with different programs.
Yes.
So that will be your main service? I mean,
The healthcare,
helping
yes.
translate and stuff like that?
Translate, well, we're promotores de salud, so at the end of the day, we serve the community whatever needs they have.
And you're a nonprofit?
And we're a nonprofit.
Well, one of the things that we see here, as a county judge is that people come in and are asking help with light bills, power bills, and I'm not saying that'd be part of y'all's job, but they need somebody to call for them, to check and see if they can just get a better rate. We've done that to where it just takes a phone call and you go from a 21 cent to 8-9 cents.
Yes.
Would y'all be able to help?
Yes.
Some of those cases that we could send somebody to you? And again, we do that here, but it's one of those deals that sometimes, you know,
Mhm.
you know,
No.
and then, but if you could get somebody, and like I say, you see that a lot. I mean, it's just, is there any type of other counseling that y'all do as far as, we also see, and I'm just throwing that out there for anybody that if y'all don't do it, we need help. We have a lot of these people that have a lot of the elderly, a lot of little loans,
Mhm.
that if they quit doing the little loans and then you show them, look, if you pay this off and then just quit going back, you actually have more money than if you just keep going. I mean, just little
Oh, we
services
can
like that.
definitely make a plan for them, and then they can just fill it out and then maybe put it on their fridge and they can
Something,
follow it, try
something,
to follow
they
it.
need help. Like I say, the light bill.
It's all about education.
Yeah, the light
educating
bill,
our community.
trying to get the light bill lowered, what they're paying, trying to get them an idea on the way they're doing their loans. Cause we see people that have like 4 different loan companies and they call them and this is, you know, that you can come get another 150 and hell, they don't get out.
Mhm.
You know, and then you look and they're asking for, and even the water bills, I mean, they're asking help for water bills, but if they could get help just to make a phone call and say, the water bill's really too high this month, and have them go check, because we've done that also, and then something was wrong with the meter. Yeah, you know, it's just a little bit of time with them, and we try to spend the time, but, you know, sometimes it gets too much. But if we had a group that would help with something like that, I think it's really needed.
No, we can definitely assist. I mean, as long as Mr. Flores is okay with us using.
No, I'm fine, I mean, I'm.
Do we have a motion?
Yes, a motion to approve.
A motion, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Thank y'all.
Thank
y'all
you.
for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Requesting approval, item 31, requesting approval to purchase computer webcams and speakerphones for the clerks to interact in Zoom meetings and training sessions.
Our phone system already did that. Are we talking about something different?
I think it's something different. I think it's actually headsets. I think that the capability's there, but just the equipment is what they're talking about.
And they have money in their tech fund? Motion to approve.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 32, discussion possible action authorizing Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez and the county judge to sign the update to law enforcement support office application for participation, 1033 program. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 33, request to use county credit cards for the Valverde County Sheriff's Office to be issued to James Sutherland Jr. and Marcos Hernandez.
Move.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton. That was loud, right?
Thank you. I wanted to get in there.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's all right, shouldn't have said that.
You know you.
Item 35, declare the item submitted as surplus property and property disposition made, but not limited to, be auctioned, reassigned, recycled, or destroyed. A sweeper, Precinct 1, a 1997 Ford F-800, Precinct 1.
What is this last one?
I have no idea. Submitted transfer surplus forms.
So those transfer forms are, it's desk,
Okay, well, let's
office
do,
supplies that they had.
let's do A and B.
Motion to
Yeah,
approve.
it's in the pack, I submitted
I have
it
a
to you.
motion, Commissioner Middleton, second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Go ahead, David, call us out.
Well, it may be in the packet, but it ain't in my deal.
Don't send David nothing, though.
So apparently your packet and my packet are different.
Yeah. Item C, submitted transfer surplus forms.
What are they? Because I don't have it in here.
So they are, different transfer forms from departments, so desks, chairs,
Just transferring between departments or?
where they're transferring from their department to surplus. It's the same thing what you guys are doing, but it's probably about 30 items, so I didn't know if county
No, that's
judge.
fine.
You're just trying to keep track of it.
Wanted to list all
Motion to
of them out.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Second. Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 36, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 36, request to remove or to move $4,500 from office supplies to capital outlay for purchase of ice machine and water conditioner.
Does he have enough money to do this
Yes.
and still make it through the year?
Well, we got 2.5 months left, so.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Second. Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 37, update on project fairground stalls and new adult probation. Edgar, are you there? Got his new cowboy hat on. I think we're paying him too much. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, the retaining wall is already being complete. The inside of the probation office has been, completely painted. Detail, we're just doing, we're not going on the front part of it, because we're still having to go in and out, we gotta stay in the restroom. The facial board outside will be replaced, and the painting will begin also this week. That the stalls, there are the fingers, they've already been cleaned out, all the repairs have been done. Backfield, the ones that are already actually in there, and the guys are back there working on the second half of the roof, and they're about little more than 3/4 of the way done with the roof. And then, this coming up week, we will start rerouting the water lines back there, once the roof is complete. And then, possibly start knocking down the old stalls where the bushes were at prior. That's where we're at right now.
Okay, also, the fencing on the adult probation, we will need to get with, Reggie. I got a text yesterday maybe, or day before, I don't know, that they're gonna go with the wood fencing and that there would be funds available to provide the materials for the wood fencing. And this would be around the adult probation for them to be able to park their cars securely and not have people vandalizing. So that's gonna help. I, appreciate it to adult probation and Reggie and the judges for allowing that to happen. What else you got, Edgar?
That's it on that. I guess after we're done painting and everything, I'll get the guys to start working on that fence as well, and the material and cost and all that.
Okay. That'll work. Anybody have any questions for Edgar? Yes, he's good. Y'all good? He's good. Move on to item 38, approving a lease agreement between Valverde County, Miguel Zuniga to host a quinceañera.
Yes, sir, on this one, he's requesting to use the arena, the main arena, we'll just close the gates. He's wanting to put a barbecue pit inside the arena, I guess to keep it, he said Western, whatever that means to him. And then good for his, for the people attending the quinceañera there.
Okay, so it's just a regular lease agreement, he's using the stall, he's using the arena.
Yes, sir.
Motion
Is there gonna be alcohol? Is there gonna be alcohol?
Mr. Will, and he will take care of the security for the night.
How's that gonna work? How's that gonna work? Them having alcohol and
They have.
Well, they're not selling it, they're just giving it away. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, they're gonna give it away in there and let people bring it on. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. Item 39, discussion and approval to authorize the mayor to sign contract with Valverde County and MRGDC to participate in the Youth SEAL program.
Move.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry. Item 40, discuss and approval of Human Resource Monthly Report for period from May 25th, 2021 through June 22nd, 2021.
Move.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. Item 41, increase the driver's wages and fringe benefits using Texas Veterans Commission grant. Adrian.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Our grant, that just got reapproved, for the transportation, was defunded by the client services $24,600, meaning that we can't assist in, housing, rent, or utilities anymore. The Texas Veterans Commission did that across Texas. I'm assuming because of COVID, that numbers didn't match. I'm working with, an individual who is going to be able to assist our county, for veterans who are in need of utilities, assistance and rent assistance.
This one is for driver's wages and fringe
Correct,
benefits.
correct. I'm just saying that the money that was taken away from us, I want to use to give to the drivers. It's still, the grant is still there. It's just the $24,600 that was used for the rent and utilities. I want to put back into fringe. I want to put into fringe benefits and give the drivers an increase in their wages.
I'm confused.
Can you legally do that?
Yes.
And why are we not spending it on what it was initially?
The Texas Veterans Commission pulled it. They
didn't give you the authority to go do it, but they left you the money?
Yes.
Okay. We'll take it.
Yeah, they're allowing us to spend it just somewhere else.
So they pulled the program to assist veterans.
They pulled the program for rental assistance and utility assistance, and they did it across the board all over Texas.
With no
for
reason
all of
why.
their grants.
And they've been doing that for years. I mean, assisting veterans with.
Correct. I'm assuming because we didn't meet the numbers. Because they gave us $24,600 to spend last year, we didn't meet that number, so they pulled it.
You didn't meet it because you didn't spend it?
We spent about $12,000.
And why is that? I mean, there's not
People
that many
didn't come to the office and ask for rental assistance or mortgage assistance. Maybe I did a poor job of marketing it. COVID, I really can't say as to why I couldn't spend $20,000. We were giving money away. But because of the fact that we failed to use it, they pulled it for client services. But they still gave it, the money's still there. They're just telling us, where can you spend it? Where can you use it other than here? Well, if you're giving me an option, then I'll give it to my drivers. Right? They're the ones doing the labor anyway.
And what are you proposing?
So I'm proposing that we give the drivers a $2 wage, a $2 increase, from what they're getting paid now.
Per hour?
Yes. And then, of course, it's also gonna cover fringe benefits.
And then we're gonna be able to do that with the amount of money you have remaining?
Yes.
Because you only have, what, 12,000 left?
No, the $24,600, it's already been,
Reawarded.
yes. Every penny is accounted for. It's gonna get put into the driver's wages.
So every coming year, you'll be able to finance that? I mean, you gonna have enough money to keep that $2 increase per hour and all that?
From the money that they're giving us, yes, for the grant.
At the same rate. At the same rate is what you're proposing?
Yeah, so we had asked for a $75,000 grant. We got approved for a $75,000 grant. $24,600 of that was meant for client services, which was to provide utility assistance and rental assistance or mortgage assistance for the veterans that needed help in that way. They pulled that fund and allowed us to give that money, put that money somewhere else.
So the remainder of that 75 you were already using for drivers and stuff like that?
We want to, and that's why we're asking the court if it's okay, because it's a,
You had 75, you got $24,000 left. Out of that 24,000, you want to be able to use some of that money for a $2 rate increase, hourly rate increase for them, and then whatever the fringe is on that $2 to pay that also, out of the 24,000.
yes. But it's, of course, the county pays the drivers, and then the grant repays the county. So that's why I'm here.
You're just gonna go up $2.
Yes.
They expanded some services for those drivers. They're able to give to these veterans too, not just transport to and from medical services, correct?
They did, but that is something I don't want to get into, because they're allowing us to drive them to and from doctor's appointments locally, but we have one van. And we're already going to San Antonio and Kerrville 4 times out of the week.
What are we gonna do with the vets that you were helping already with rent, mortgage, and utilities?
Like I said, I'm already working with another individual who's able to help our county. He is funded through the Texas Veterans Commission, and he is able to help with that. His funding got cut in half. He had $250,000 last year, and he has $116,000 to use for this new fiscal year. I can't tell you Texas Veterans Commission is doing their thing. I don't have a.
This is not the federal, this is the state.
It's the state, which gets funded through the.
So it's still federal money?
It's still federal money.
So we don't know if the funding got cut on the federal level or if the funding is getting cut on the state level?
Correct. I still don't know. I haven't had a chance to ask that many people yet.
But the amount of money that this country spends on everything else and we can't help our veterans is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
I am just as upset as you are, Commissioner. It's ridiculous how they would take money away from.
How are we going to plug that hole? I mean, apparently you have a need for it. You spent $12,000.
And that's where I'm gonna honestly have to lean on this other entity who is out of Carrizo Springs. He'll be able to service our area. So it would be passing the buck over to him. If the veterans here need help.
Have you had any conversations with our state reps and our senators and our congressmen about this issue?
No, I haven't. I haven't had a chance to. I just found out a couple of weeks ago that our funding got pulled. And when they say we're taking our money from you, but you can use it somewhere else, I don't understand.
Well, they're not taking their money, they're just cutting the program, basically what they're doing.
They're bottlenecking us.
They're cutting a program that assists veterans in housing, but we can house everybody else in 5-star hotels when they come across the river illegally. So,
That's true.
Well, don't forget that we're gonna have endeavors there at the community center.
Correct.
They assist veterans and homeless and.
Correct, and that's a great program, that they're running as well. But sometimes there's red tape there too.
I'll make a motion to approve the $2 increase with Branch. Can you let us know where we're at?
Motion.
In the process of assisting these veterans with the other things that now are not being funded, if you're able to get that through this other group or.
I definitely will. Yes.
So we can look at it and see.
I definitely will. I can even do a congressional complaint as to why they removed our funds. They could have easily have said, hey, instead of $20,000 being removed from you, we're gonna give you $10,000. Give me something.
I understand if you're only spending
But they
12,
just-
you're only
they just
spending
pulled
12,
it.
but-
They pulled the whole program. Client services got pulled.
I'm sorry, and this was just across the state, it wasn't just only us here in.
It wasn't just us, it was
Okay.
across the state.
What I wanna know is it the state of Texas doing this, or is it the feds doing this, which is forcing the state to do this?
I could definitely find out for you, Commissioner.
Because it makes a big difference. I can't believe that the state of Texas I would hope they wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I just got off the phone with the gentleman who's running the other program, and he called me, he's like, hey, did your program go through? Because mine got cut in half. And I told him mine got cut.
Can you bring it back to us in a couple of weeks?
Roger that.
Roger that.
Thank
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 42, discuss possible action regarding making an exception to the $150 limit for hotel room per day as per section 2.17 of the Valverde County Personal Policy related to travel on official business, and increase the limit to $300 for hotel room per day. This year's.
You wrote a book.
Yeah, I did. It just keeps going. Will be held in Galveston, Texas, and is scheduled from September 22nd to the 24th, 2021. The conference will be held at Galveston Convention Center and not at a hotel. Therefore, there is no host hotel. TDCAA has blocked rooms at 3 different hotels near the convention center. However, none of the hotels have any rooms available, and we will be spending a lot of time on the beach.
Second.
We all need some time on the beach.
That last part I just got.
Motion to approve. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton.
Second, Judge.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez, all those in
All
favor?
right. Steve Manuel, can we address this?
We had,
We had addressed it on host hotels.
during the legislative session, we had not come back. And we actually talked about this a couple of days ago.
Right.
Bringing it back to the court as a policy.
Yeah.
All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 43, closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code A 551.071 parentheses 2, attorney-client privilege, B 551.071 parentheses 1 parentheses A, contemplated litigation. We'll take a 5-minute break, and then if y'all will give us the room, we'll go into executive session.
Recording stopped.
Thank you. Sheriff? Sheriff, if you'll stay. You don't mind.
No. We don't want to leave.
Hey, lady, just scream at me. Court now come back into session. It is 11:30. No action was taken. We're gonna move to item 22. Discussion possible action on jail contract to go from $10 to $20 per day.
I make a motion to authorize the judge and the county attorney to send a letter in reference to this.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 19, discussion possible action on Odyssey contract. Do I have a motion? I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion then to cancel the contract and send Odyssey, a letter that we will be canceling the contract.
Second, that, Judge.
Have a motion, second Commissioner Vasquez, and I'm gonna take, hand vote per vote by person. All those in favor, Commissioner, Wardlow, how do you vote? Yea, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Vasquez, how do you vote? Yes?
Yes.
Commissioner Nettleton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Flores, how do you vote?
Yes.
And my vote is also a yes. It is a 5-0 vote. And we'll get that letter out. Did I miss anything, David? That was it? That was it? Item 44, Commissioners' comments. None. Item 45, County Judges' comments. None. Item 46, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.